Welcome, everybody. It is our weekly iBUG Buzz for Monday, June 21st, 2021. A hot summer day if you're in Austin, Texas, which I am. I'm Stephen Kerr. I'm going to be your host for the next hour, and then Sandhya will take over for the second hour. So between the two of us, we have got you covered tonight. We're glad to have you here, whether you're a first-timer or an old-timer. Okay, maybe old-timer was not such a good choice of words, but anyway, we're glad to have you, and we're here to talk about all things iOS, that being the iPhone, the iPad, iPod Touch, Apple TV, Apple Watch, many apps and accessories that go along with those devices. Now, we don't cover questions about the Mac on this particular call. We do have a separate call for that. Now, let me just go over some quick guidelines for those of you who are new to the call. Before we get started, this call is being recorded. You may have heard that as we started the recording, and that is used for podcast playback on our website, as well as on Sight into Sound Radio. So we want to let you know right off the bat that this call is being recorded. You can also find the podcast anywhere that you subscribe to podcasts. With that in mind, we ask that you please stay muted unless you're speaking, and this is just to ensure the quality of the call, and it's to keep any background noise to a minimum because that's very distracting. Now, if we have to tell you several times to mute yourself because of too much noise, we do reserve the right to put you in the virtual waiting room. But you know what? I think we have a great group, so I don't anticipate that we will have to do that. So please just help us by staying on mute if you're not speaking. Also, we don't use the raise hand feature on Zoom like many other calls do. If you want to ask or answer a question, you simply state your name and then wait for either me or Sandhya to recognize you, and then you can start speaking. So just keep that in mind. And once you've asked a question, try to refrain from asking additional questions, and that's just to give others a chance to participate and like to give everybody a fair shot. Now, before we start taking your questions, I'm going to briefly turn it over to Sandhya. I think Michael is not here yet, right, Sandhya?
Yes, sir, Bob. Stephen. Yes, sir.
So Michael normally does our announcements because we have a lot of things going on in iBUG these days. But Sandhya, what do we have?
Oh my goodness, this week is busy. All right, real quick. So tomorrow we have a double header, shall we say? Shall I use a baseball analogy?
Sure, why not?
Stephen?
I'm a baseball fan. I'm good.
I don't know anything about baseball, but okay. At 5, all time central and all events except those specified as clubhouse events are going to take place on this same Zoom conference line. 5 to 6 will be mini buzz, all things that we're doing right now, but for 1 hour, talking about all the iOS related products and peripherals and apps. And then from 7 to 8:30, we have Mac and Talk. And that will be from 7 to 8:30, talking about all things related to the Mac and whether you should get a Mac or you don't know what to do with the Mac that you have. So we will answer those questions for you. It's an open forum with questions for relating to the Mac. And then what do we have? Oh, Thursday. Okay, Thursday we have iBUG. It's iBUG's Life. It's iBUG's Life, and that is one of our newer additions on Clubhouse. And there we're going to be talking about all things relating to travel as things start to open up. We are looking forward to our presentation there. So join us at 6 o'clock on this Thursday. And then iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. Stay tuned. Come back at the what is that called? Halftime show. Goodness, what's wrong with you, Stephen?
Yeah, we're using all these sports terms, huh?
I know, I'm just amazing, right? Okay, so it's going to be at 8:30 Central. Come back, and the wonderful iBUG guy himself will be unveiling his clues for the movie. All right, so that'll be today at 8:30, the midpoint of our call. And then on Saturday, it's iBUG Apple Workshop, and we're going to be talking about the latest Apple news and so forth, and then some cool demos by some new time people that you have never heard before. So I think you ought to check it out. So that'll be from 2 to 4 on this same conference line. So that's what we got, Stephen, and we will, yes, that's what we got. All right. So
All
there
right.
you go.
Well, let's see. Now, the mini buzz tomorrow night is on Clubhouse, correct?
Is on Clubhouse. And I forgot to mention our website is the best place to get all the information. iBugtoday.org, iBUG, Go to the upcoming tab, and there is a nice little listing of all of our events. And recently, our events are being all of our conference calls are archived and recorded on our website, as well as on YouTube, and they're also available with the A Lady on anywhere that you can, where you subscribe to your podcast. So you can subscribe to iBug Buzz, and you will hear all the latest calls that way. And we have facebook.com/group/iBug Today, and then a Twitter account is at iBug Today. So we'd love for you to follow us there. And there you have it, Stephen.
Yeah. See, I told you there's a lot going on in iBug. You covered it very well, Sandhya. Thank you so much. Now,
Thank you.
My question is, what happens if Michael doesn't come back by halftime? Who gives the movie clues?
I have no idea. Let's hope we don't have to address that question.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Oh, let's not think about it. It's too traumatizing.
I agree. Let's think about intros. Why don't we give everybody a chance to introduce themselves? Just tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and remember, you'll have to unmute yourself. So let's start. I'll start. I'm Stephen Kerr from Austin, Texas. Who would like to start the introductions? You will have to unmute.
Mark in Montreal.
Hey there, Mark. Good to have you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Chanel in Houston.
Hey, Chanel.
Dana in Ohio.
Mr. Dana, welcome.
Thanks.
This is Dee from Mousetown, Illinois.
Wait, Mousetown, Illinois?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's great, Dee. That's different. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right,
Bernice Bird, College Park, Georgia.
Hi, Bernice. Welcome. Glad to have you tonight.
This is Dan
Okay,
from
I am
Lego
muted.
Town, San Diego.
Hey, Dan. And did I hear Herbie?
Yes, this is Herbie in Houston.
All right, welcome, Dan and Herbie. Who's next?
Kelsey in Ohio.
Hi, Kelsey. Welcome.
Keith in Austin.
Ibrahim in Boston, Massachusetts.
Keith in Austin, Ibrahim, Boston. All right, good rhyme. Welcome to both of you.
Roy in Fort Worth.
Hey, Roy. Welcome.
Sree from Springfield, Virginia.
Hey there, Sree. Welcome.
Hershey from Florida.
Hey, Hershey. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that hasn't introduced themselves yet?
This is Joe for Norman.
Hey, Joe. Good to have you.
Karen in Philadelphia.
Hi, Karen. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's Sandhya in Houston again.
Yes. Hey, Sandhya. Anyone else before we move along? Oh, okay. Well, if you didn't have a chance to at this time, we'll stop and do introductions during the halftime show for those that come in later or didn't have a chance this time. All right. Do we have any new callers or new people to this particular call that we can recognize real quickly?
We have Miss
Bernice.
Jake. Hey, Jake. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bernice, is this your first time on the iBug Buzz? If you want to unmute. Okay. Well, we can come back to you later, and you're free to ask a question. If you have a question about anything related to iOS, you can certainly do that. And speaking of which, why don't we open it up for questions? Remember there are... Oh, there you are. There you are, Bernice. We got you.
Take so out again. Yeah.
I just wanted to find out, how did you hear about iBug and what iOS devices do you use?
I have an iPhone. I heard about y'all from Glass. They did a in-service meeting with Glass. That's a organization I belong to here in Georgia at the Glass Line.
Okay. Excellent. What version of iPhone do you have?
One of the new ones. I think it's I forget. It's been so long since I bought it. I think it was a SR or something. I don't know.
The SE maybe, the SE2?
I don't know. I was going to get an iPhone 8, but they said they didn't have the push button on it
That's correct.
for me. So I got the one right before that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, great. Well, we're very glad to have you, and feel free to. Is there any particular question that you had that you want to ask?
No, not right now. I'm just going to listen.
Okay, well, you do that, and if you think of a question between now and the end of the call, feel free to ask to be recognized, and we'll let you ask your question.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's go ahead and open up the floor for questions. Remember, there are no dumb questions, so don't be shy. Who would like to go first tonight? Get the first question and topic going for discussion.
Ibrahim.
Okay, Ibrahim, and then D will be next. Ibrahim, go ahead.
So I'm just noticing some kind of anomaly with reset password emails for different apps and websites. I know I have accounts with them, but for some reason, they're not sending me reset password emails. And notice it with a lot of different apps lately, like MyFitnessPal was one, RunGo was one. So I'm just wondering if there's a problem with different app servers right now, you think, or what kind of thing could have caused this, I guess.
Okay, so to clarify, you're not getting the normal emails to change passwords?
Yeah, I'm not. Once I put in my email to reset the password, it tells me this account does not exist, even though I know it does exist.
Oh.
And it's happening on like several different apps and websites. So I'm not sure what to do with it.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have a possible solution for Ibrahim not being able to change his passwords on certain apps? Ibrahim, let me ask you this. Do you use Keychain for your passwords or no?
Yes, and I've noticed I use that. I use the autofill like the shortcuts to put in my email address, and sometimes it tells me it doesn't exist, or it tells me this email address is badly formatted. So I'm not sure if the problem is coming from not wanting to take a auto-generated email address, or just a problem with different companies' servers. Because I've noticed when I type it in manually, it still doesn't give me doesn't reset the password.
Okay.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
So Abraham, is this web-based emails, or is it an app-based email that you're trying to reset?
What do you want me to do? I couldn't hear you, Sree.
No, I'm asking you, is this a web-based emails that you're trying to reset the password? Or is it app-based?
It's several apps I'm trying to reset emails for with a Gmail account.
Okay, so it's not a web-based. You're not logging into the internet and trying to reset the password.
No, I'm logging into different apps and
just through the
reset
apps. Okay.
Okay.
So MyFitnessPal is one, and then another one was a exercise app called RunGo.
Did you try to delete the app and reinstall the app and see if
yeah, that worked to fix the password problem. So I got in with that one, but not the other one.
It's possible it's in the cache somewhere, and
yeah,
they have to do a reset. Did you try doing just a regular volume up, volume down, power button reset?
You mean like turning the phone off, or something else?
Not the basic reset.
The hard reboot, where you hold it down past where it says power off. You keep holding it down. Is that right, Sree?
Yeah.
So hold the volume down for a couple of minutes.
No. Volume up, volume down, then hold the power button down.
Probably for about 15, 20 seconds, I think. For the hard reboot.
Yeah, if you hold it, if you keep holding it, it will automatically come back. It'll automatically boot back up. But if you don't, then you got to reboot it. So but you make sure you do volume up.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you just have to make sure you do volume up and volume down and power button, side button really fast.
Okay.
All right. Herbie?
Yeah, have you double checked your junk mail filter email inboxes to see if the password resets have ended up in there.
That's a good point.
What is it? I couldn't hear the last part. Email. Something?
The junk, you know how every email service usually has a junk folder?
I've checked all my other photos. It's not in there. Junk, spam, trash. I think I'll do what Sree recommended.
Okay. Any other possible solutions? Okay, Sree, well, I'm sorry, Ibrahim, try that and come back and let us know if you're still having problems with it. We'll see if we can.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for the question. Okay, Dee, you are next. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to let y'all know, I just heard something on my radio station here that made me quite happy. Our CPR store, which stands for cell phone repair, and CPR, they're in several countries, is now an official Apple repair facility. That one in my town. Now, I don't know about others. So I just thought I'd let y'all know that, and you might want to check out your CPR store if you don't have an Apple store near you.
So that means if your iOS device dies, you can do CPR on it now.
Right.
That's great. Hey.
I
I'm
did
all
have
for
a
that.
battery. I went there last year and had a battery put in my phone, but my phone was not under warranty anymore, and everything's worked fine ever since. But yeah, I was very happy to hear that we have a repair place here locally now.
All right. Well, that's great, Dee. Well, thanks for passing along the information. And we can, those that have perhaps a location in their city as another option, maybe to, I don't know as far as, the quality of the CPR stores that have been around. I haven't ever dealt with them, but another option to use.
This
That's
is
very
Herbie.
good. Herbie, go ahead.
I would imagine if they're Apple certified, they've had to live up to a very high standard, just knowing how Apple is.
That's probably true. That's probably true. But great information, Dee. Thanks for sharing.
Sure enough.
All right, let's move along. Who has the next question or topic for discussion?
Mark in Montreal. Stephen?
Hey, Mark, go ahead, sir.
Somebody want to furnish everybody with the information about how they can change their identity on the iPhone in Zoom rather than displaying the phone number by putting in their name. What sort of the steps for people to do that, so the next time and for subsequent times that they go into Zoom, that their name will be displayed rather than a phone number.
Okay, does anyone have those steps memorized? So we're wanting to do this like through your iDevice, either iPhone or your iPad, going into Zoom settings and changing the screen name.
Correct.
Okay, anybody can answer that? I don't have those steps. I usually, because I've had mine set for so long, I can't even remember what.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
I may skip some steps here, but basically you open up the Zoom app, you flick right till you get to settings, double tap on settings, flick right after you see your login email address, and I believe it's either the second or third one after that is the name, and I believe you can double tap and change the name and then hit save.
And that's not when you're actually in a meeting. That's your actual Zoom settings in the app, correct?
Right, that's correct.
Right, because if you're in a meeting, if I'm not mistaken, like if you're in this meeting right now and you change it through those meeting settings, it's not going to stay. Like if you go to another meeting, it's going to still say iPhone or whatever your.
You got to do it before, but once you change it, you're fine, because that's why mine says Mark in Montreal or something like that.
Like when we changed Freddie's name earlier, we did it through the host, and the co-host can do that, or the host actually can do it through the meeting settings. But once Freddie ends the call, and if he gets back on
reverts
Zoom,
back.
Yeah, it's going to revert back.
In somewhere, it's going to show his number again.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Sree. I think that's that. I think you have it about right. There may be a step or two there, but that it should be clicking on the name and then changing it. Does anybody else have any other comments on that? Anything we may have missed? Okay, that's a good question, Mark, because I know there's some that may want to change their name, but they just don't know how, because they appear on each meeting and it just has the iPhone or, unfortunately for telephone numbers, I don't know there's a way to do that necessarily unless you announce yourself when you come in, but that's a great question. So thanks for asking that. All right, we're moving right along. Who has a new question or new topic? Any problems or any problems from, say, the week before or recently that maybe we didn't solve, that maybe you were able to solve on your own? Come back and let us know.
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, since things are kind of slow, I'll just throw this out to see if anybody has any comments about it. It's my understanding that Apple has started spatial audio in Apple Music. I'm not sure about that, but that's my understanding. And in order to take advantage of that, you can use your HomePod. So I'm wondering if
This is Herbie.
first of all, if that's been activated, and secondly, on the HomePod, if you have to make any changes to take advantage of spatial audio.
Okay, Herbie, go ahead.
Okay, wrong pod, my friend. It's not the HomePod that supports spatial audio. And I don't even think two HomePods put together would support it. That would be the AirPods Pro and some of the Beats headphones, though the AirPods, in my opinion, handle it a little bit better. It has been activated. Not every track is currently set up for Dolby Atmos, but if you go into music, you need iOS 14.4, I think is the lowest. So if you go to settings and then music, you will see options for lossless, and you need to have that enabled and make sure it's at least set for, the lossless is set for the streaming. And you'll also see an option for Dolby Atmos, and you can turn it on. The best way, in my opinion, to discover Dolby Atmos tracks is in the Browse tab in Apple Music, and there are some spatial audio playlists there. So that is the easiest way to discover what tracks sound like in that format. But you do need specially equipped headphones, like I said, the AirPods 2, the AirPods Pro. I'm not sure about the original AirPods. I know Beats support them as well, and several brands of those. And I'm not sure if there's any other headphone brands that support the spatial audio.
Herbie, have you had a chance to listen to the sound of spatial audio?
Yes.
What is the difference? Is it a big difference?
It is. It really depends on the song, in my opinion. First of all, I'm much more into older songs than this modern stuff they have now. So I think it's better designed a little bit for modern stuff. But the idea is to have the music more or less all around you. And sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. I have a pair of Beats headphones and I have a pair of AirPods Pro, and I think the AirPods Pro handle it a little bit better. But you can hear the difference by, once you have it enabled. If you find the track in Dolby Atmos, if you turn it off, you will notice a difference between when it's on and off. But the idea is to kind of have the music more surrounding. I like it to a point, but I'm not big on it.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, go ahead.
Yeah, my niece, who's younger, and she loves it. So, I mean, I haven't tried it. She's like, "You gotta try it. It's great." So I haven't tried it, but maybe what Herbie's saying about the modern music might be
So this is
different, but
Herbie.
that's what she's saying. So
Go ahead,
that's
Herbie.
why. Okay.
So for anybody that, Sandhya, I could share the playlist with you if you try it, but there's a playlist I like called Rock and Spatial Audio, and it has a lot of classic rock songs on there that have been converted to spatial audio. So
Now you do have to subscribe to Apple Music, I
Yes,
think, to get
you
that. So
do.
it's, in other words, if you purchased Apple Music,
But the good news is you don't have to pay extra. It's the same price.
right.
This
So
is Sree.
something to keep in mind. Sree, go ahead.
Yeah, so a little bit about spatial audio with audio versus video. When you watch a spatial audio with video, you really get the 3D sound effect, meaning a sound could come from the top right, and then all of a sudden the sound goes to the bottom left. But with music, it always comes in that one spot. So it doesn't fluctuate like the video does. It's pretty much.
No, this is Herbie. I hear Apple's working on introducing that more in a later release, but
it's not now.
No.
Okay.
And also, I believe devices that have the H1 and the W chip will support spatial audio. And people that I've talked to, some have said that it drains or it lowers the sound of the main song because everything's kind of getting divvied out. So some people don't like that, and some songs they see that more when they're listening to it versus other songs.
Okay, this is Dan.
This is Herbie. I've noticed that too.
Okay.
That's why I said I'm kind of torn on it.
Yeah. Dan, go ahead.
Okay, regarding the chip, is that available on the 12 Pro?
The 12 Pro supports it.
Okay, and give me the settings again in music that you have to enable for that.
So this is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
It's very easy to find once you get into the music and settings. You'll see the options for lossless that you need to have enabled, and then spatial audio, and just make sure that's also enabled. And make sure your streaming quality is set to lossless. Unless you have an MQA audio, you only need the middle setting. There's like 3. And so you want that set for streaming, and at least you can set it for downloads as well. That depends on your preferences, but you need it at least set for streaming. And then that's how you will get the spatial audio to work.
Okay, so the main thing is set it up for lossless.
Yes, it has to be set for lossless, and then you can get the spatial audio. That's my understanding of the spatial audio will not work without the lossless.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting.
This is Jake. I got a question.
Is it on this topic or something new,
Yes,
Jake?
it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Does that work with the wired headphones?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
I don't think so.
Huh.
And it doesn't sound that great. I'll tell you another way it does not sound as good. It's kind of work like, so the 11 and 12 phones are, the internal speakers are set up for surround sound. And so
Right.
It does kind of work on those and kind of not. It's a little bit interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, and this was just introduced, was it not, in 14.6?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is very new, as with anything else, there are bugs and there are, going to need to be improvements. They haven't completely done it all the way yet. I know they're working on some things. So it is very new, but it is something kind of interesting to think about. If you have an Apple Music subscription, you want to play around with it, Dee, go ahead.
Yeah, is this the same thing like last winter, last couple of years? I was playing around in YouTube, and they'd have some music that was in digital 8 something or other, surround stuff, and it just sounded like the music was just swirling around your head, more or less. It was really cool. And then they did a demo of them talking, something going on, like somebody pulling a chain across the floor, and you could just hear them walking like on a hardwood floor, and this chain being moved across. And then all of a sudden, some guy was like right behind my chair and whispered in my ear, and I just about freaked out.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, it showed you all these different ways of making the sound.
This is Sree.
Sree, go ahead.
Like I was explaining a little bit earlier, for audio, it really doesn't do that. It does it more for movies.
Right.
Like I guess what like Herbie said, I guess Apple's going to try and fix it, but right now it's pretty much stationary. Like a particular sound will be coming from the same area throughout the song.
But has anybody tried that digital 8 or whatever they called it?
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
I think you're talking about the 8-bit rate. They range from, I think they're up to like 24-bit now. Like CD, I think it's around 24-bit rate.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of getting off the bunny trail a little bit. So it's an interesting discussion though, and it's something I say that's very new. Apple's still working on it, but if you're into sound, then that's something you can certainly check out as they make improvements to it. But thank you, Dan. That's a very good question. Appreciate you asking that. All right, let's move along to a new topic. Is there someone with a new question or a new topic of discussion they'd like to bring up?
This is David.
Hey, David, go ahead.
Hey, I've noticed that the share sheet that's available on pretty much every app, and when I use it in photos, it has the most frequently used contacts in there. Like it doesn't save my people I text message. It only saves like my Messenger or WhatsApp people, like anybody I sent by text message or iMessage photo. Frequently, it doesn't keep their contact. Or you want somebody.
Okay, David, I think you're cutting out a little bit, but I think we get the gist of. So, in other words,
I thought it'd be kind of universal.
Yeah. So, in other words, it's not showing. The contacts aren't showing up in the share sheet.
In photos, the Photos app.
In photos,
yeah,
right?
It shows, but it shows WhatsApp and Messenger, which are not even Apple products. But it doesn't save the people I send a lot of photos to in iMessage.
That is
now
interesting.
I can go down to messages and do it manually and type in their addresses. But sometimes it's kind of tedious if you do it a lot. And
yeah,
it'd be nice to have a quicker way. Which does anyone experience that? I don't know if y'all use photos much, but I just don't know why there's an inconsistency in the.
Okay. Does anybody have a possible solution? I know that normally when something pops up in the share sheet, it comes up with most of the people I've texted recently seem to pop up, and but I don't. Of course, I text more than I use Messenger or any of the other apps. But does anybody else having that same problem that can help David out?
I thought it might be like a security setting or something that maybe I turned off or.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just checking in my photos and I see. So you're saying that people that you have messaged or whatever recently are not showing up. Is that? No, I want to make sure I understand it. What your question?
It shows a couple of people from Facebook Messenger and one person from WhatsApp that I communicate with.
Okay.
And that's it. There's no iMessage people, but I send a lot of stuff to people on iMessage.
Okay.
To photos, and their names never get saved in there.
Okay, so I don't know if it's a function of I don't use those other two that much, but I do see, like I took a picture yesterday and I see people that I texted today in that share sheet. So I think that tells me that the iMessage are showing up. I think that's
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
Curiosity question. Do you know if you're texting people that are not on an iOS device?
These are all pretty much, these are all iOS people. They're all iMessage people.
Then I'm stumped.
I don't know.
I've noticed the share sheet can be rather inconsistent with a lot of things. Like there are some apps that won't show up when I want to save to. So I don't know. It may just be in the share sheet itself, I'm thinking.
I wonder if there's a way to reset the saved contacts or whatever in there. Kind of start over. But
Does anybody know that?
I guess
Is there a way to save that or
I
reset?
don't want to do that hard reset thing, where you lose all your settings. You have to kind of go and kind of fill with all your ringtones and everything. But
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Isn't there a way to just disable that feature completely, and then maybe you would go away and then you could start over
yeah,
again?
that's a good point. Maybe I should turn it off and then turn it back on. And yeah,
I
that
forgot
might
where
help.
it is, but yeah, okay.
That's probably in. Where's it? I'm not sure which setting category to be under, but
That might be a possibility, though.
yeah, I can poke around the settings and see if maybe I can reset that.
Okay.
Because it's just weird that it doesn't show up the same in another, in Safari as it does in. Because I'm sending the same stuff to people like in Safari that's in my photos, but somehow they don't get saved in the photos.
Well, let us know what you find out, David, if you're able to
right,
find that
no
setting,
problem.
or if so, if it works for you. But that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's interesting. The share sheet, sometimes is a source of frustration for me, especially when I want to save to a certain app and I know I have the app, but it's not in there. So, but that's interesting about the messages, though. I tend to not have that problem, so be interesting to find out. But thanks for the question.
This is Keith.
Keith, go ahead.
I'm the guinea pig, so I just went into photos and I had just texted D and Sree, and they both showed up in the share sheet when I was sharing the photo or trying to share a photo. So that sounds kind of odd.
Yeah. It may just be a simple thing of turning a setting off and on.
Hopefully so.
Something like that. So see if that works for you, David, and come back and let us know if you can. All right.
Okay.
Next question. Who has a new question or new topic?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an Apple Watch question. So I had this happen to me a couple weeks ago. Didn't think much of it, and then it happened to a friend of mine. So I'm wondering, has anybody had it recently where they turn off their Apple Watch, turn it back on, and VoiceOver does not talk?
Okay, so you turn the watch off and then on, and then there's no voiceover?
There's no voiceover. I somehow got it unlocked and then got VoiceOver to reset that way when I think the phone unlocked it, but I'm just wondering if anybody else has experienced that.
Okay, does anybody can help Herbie out on that? Losing voiceover when you turn the watch off and back on again. I wonder, because voiceover has had some real crazy things going on in this latest update. So I'm just wondering if that's one of them that's crept up in the watch as well.
Maybe.
This is
Never had the
Marty.
problem with the phone. Marty, yep.
Marty, go ahead.
I haven't had that problem, but when I addressed a problem with technical support, they said one way to reboot the watch without losing data is to, I think they said, press the crown and the other button and hold them in for like 30 seconds. And I guess it does a soft reset to the watch. You won't lose data. And they think that can resolve problems.
Okay. Herbie, is that a possibility that you could try? Or something you haven't tried?
Well, I got my watch talking again, but if I turn it off and turn it back on, though, I think my friend tried that today with their watch, just because they were having a totally different problem, and it stopped. It did the same thing again for them, where it stopped talking altogether. So I don't know if that would be a solution or not, but I haven't tried it in the state where it's not. Normally, I never turn it off, but I was having a problem where it switched voices and then it wasn't switching back. So then I reset it, and that's when because it's not something I normally do with the watch. So
yeah, I was going to ask you, is this something that go ahead, Marty, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's Marty. Did you check the settings in the phone app for the watch to see if there's any setting that got changed that
I'll double check,
you don't
but
want?
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, Herbie, does this happen every time that you turn the watch off and turn it back on, or is it just intermittently?
It does. Well, it doesn't happen. Like I said, I've only did it once, and I didn't even think much of it. Then somebody was asking me about the exact same problem the other day with their watch, and that reminded me of it because I thought it was just a fluke at the time. So I didn't even think about it again. And then somebody had the exact same issue, and that's what made me wonder: are more people having this problem or not? I haven't done it again yet.
All right. Well, give that a try and see if that helps. Does anybody have any other solutions? Those of you who have Apple Watches, have you experienced this? You might have another option.
This is Sree.
Sree, go ahead.
So I had a different issue with my Apple Watch where the text message was telling me to enter the password on my watch, and there's no place to enter a password. And the only thing that I could do to fix it was unpair and repair it, and then the problem went away. So I'm thinking maybe unpairing, repairing might fix it too.
Okay. Possibility.
Yeah, this is Herbie. That is definitely an option.
All right, we'll give those two things a try, Herbie, and see if that helps. All right, thanks for the question. Who has a new question or a new topic? Who would like to be next?
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
I got a voice memo question. Is there a pause button on the voice memo? Because all I hear is record.
Okay, so you're looking for an actual pause button. You're wanting to stop in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody?
Kelsey?
Kelsey, go ahead.
It's been a while since I've used voice memos, but I think if you continue to swipe past the record button, I believe there is a pause button.
Okay, Sree.
This is Herbie.
Sandhya and then Herbie.
Okay,
Sandhya,
yeah.
go ahead.
I think you have to find that card controller or something. I think you swipe to the left, I believe. And then once you get into the card control, I mean, not real definite, but somehow I did find once you get into that card controller mode, then you will find the pause button. Otherwise, you see a stop button and then it ends the recording. So that's what I have.
Okay, Herbie.
I think, and you'd have to test this out, and anybody can be a guinea pig, including myself. But that in a minute. But I think a 2-finger double tap works as a pause in voice memos.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the problem with trying to swipe, if you're recording something and you're swiping around looking for the pause button, that's going to come out on the recording more than likely. And it certainly would be distracting. But yeah, the 2-finger double tap, just like when you're playing or pausing an audio file, usually if you do that in voice memos, it will pause the recording.
This is Sree.
Sree, go ahead.
I think when I did that, it basically stopped the previous one and started a new recording. Is what I experienced.
Yeah, you may actually be right. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't paused recordings too much. Usually they've been short enough where I've just stopped it. So yeah, that may be a good point.
Yeah, I'll check with Sandhya because I think the card controller typically has other functions. So
it does, yes.
It doesn't tell us. We'd have to kind of guess but I'll check that out.
Yeah, I mean that is an option. It's just that if you're recording something, you don't want to be swiping all over the place trying to find the pause button, especially if voiceover is talking in the background. Because I know I've had trouble with that when I've recorded stuff. And so, but yeah, for stopping a recording, I know the 2-finger double tap works for that. So that may be your only option, though, is to go in the card controller.
It's Kathy.
Kathy, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Just on the off chance that you're wanting to pause because you're coughing, I can tell you that she ignores coughing.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm worried because I had to cough in the middle of a sentence or something, and then I just let it go and it was fine. She just ignores it and doesn't pause or anything.
That's interesting. I must admit I haven't tried to find that out either. So, but that's Very interesting. Okay.
This
Any
is
other
Keith.
comments? Keith, go ahead.
If you go into a voice memo and tap on the voice memo that you want to edit, you can go down and find more actions, I believe. And then one of those is card overlay. And I haven't messed with it, but I just found it myself, and I'm gonna see if you can continue the recording maybe, but I didn't see a pause button anywhere. So maybe it's just a matter that you can go in there and add to the end of it. We'll see.
Sree, go ahead.
Nancy?
I just tested it. Sandhya was right. It is in the card controller. If you tap on it, you have an option for pause.
Okay, so it is in the card controller.
Can you say that about 10 more times, Sree, please? This is Sandhya.
This is Keith.
All right,
Hang
thank
on.
you. Sorry.
This is
Okay.
Keith.
Keith, actually Nancy and then Keith. Nancy?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nancy.
I was just going to say, yes, I use that a lot. You have to hit the card overlay, and it's confusing because it says dimmed. But then if you swipe to the right, it does say pause. And it also has a resume button and a done button. So just be careful not to hit the done button. If you want to resume, swipe to the left just a little bit and you'll find that resume button. And you
Okay.
can continue recording.
Very good. Good idea. Keith, go ahead. I think
that answered it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. No problem. Any other comments on the voice memos question before we move on? Now, those are some good suggestions that kind of, again, I wish there was a shortcut on the fly way instead of having to do that, because yeah, if you have to pause in the middle, it doesn't, the two finger doesn't help. But those are, at least partially good fixes for the time being. All right, who has a new question, a new topic?
Sorry, this is Nancy again.
Nancy, go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing. The frustrating part, if you're trying to do a good recording, is if you don't have headphones or something on, you will have voiceover in your recording saying pause, all the how long it's been recording and that stuff. And the one other thing I was going to say is if you do hit pause, be sure when you hit done, don't get out of voice memos right away. It's got to put the thing together. So can you tell I made the mistake once of getting out of voice memos
And you lost your
before it
recording.
said done? I lost my recording. So
Yeah.
just let it tell you when it's done piecing it all together.
Yeah. So when you do that, like, does it say recording done? I mean, does it give you some indication, audio indication that it's done and you can do that?
I can't remember what it says, but I just find the up in the top left corner where it has dictate and all that.
Mhm.
I just swipe to the right and see if it tells me how long the recording is. And then I know it's done.
Mhm. Yeah, that's probably especially true if it's a long recording. It just takes a minute for it to actually complete the saving of the file. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Again. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Nancy. Anybody else before we move on to the next question? Okay. All right. We've
This
got a
is
little
Marty.
background noise, so let's try to cut that. Sounds like there's a television or something on. If you could cut that out, that would be great. Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Marty. When you go in YouTube, I was specifically looking like to see what MLB game was on, because they have like one MLB game a week on YouTube. I couldn't find a search function
In the app?
in the app. Yes.
This is Sree.
Sree, go ahead.
So what I do is I make sure that I'm in the top of the YouTube selection, and I'll do a 4-finger single tap, and I flick right, and I believe the thing, you have 3 different tabs in the, I think they're tabs. I'm not exactly sure if they're buttons or tabs. I'm not sure. I think one of them says notification, one of them says something else, and the other one says search.
Yeah, I believe they're tabs.
Now, how do you get to that again?
So the way I do it is I make sure that I'm all the way in the top of the YouTube app.
Yes. Okay.
And then I do a 4-finger single tap on the top of the screen, then I flick
What do you
right.
do? What kind of, is it a 4-finger
4-finger single tap.
Oh, okay.
That basically brings the voiceover to the top left of the YouTube app, and then I just
Okay.
flick right, and it's the third one is the search button.
Right.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Next question. Anyone have a new question?
Mark in Montreal.
Hey, Mark, go ahead.
When you're in Zoom here and you're on, say you're in this session, you get a phone call. I think I buggered something up so that when I get off the phone call, I don't get back into Zoom. It used to be, I'm pretty sure, unless my brain is failing me, that when you got off the phone call and double tapped or they hung up, it went back into your Zoom meeting, but that doesn't seem to be happening to me lately. So is there something I should be checking for in my Zoom settings on the app to make sure that when I do stop the phone call ends, that the Zoom meeting will go back? Or because last time I had to log back in and get back in that way because it wasn't there. Very
Okay.
annoying.
Very annoying. Yes, indeed. Anybody can help Mark on that, trying to if it will automatically come back on Zoom after a phone call. I had that happen, it was months ago. And when I got off, it didn't take me back either. So I don't know if it's just a case that if you get interrupted that way, it just kicks you off automatically, or like if Mark said, is if there's a setting that I don't know of a setting, I don't recall seeing one, but does somebody else maybe come across one? All right. Hearing none, I would assume not at the moment, Mark, but you know how Zoom is always changing things, so maybe they'll add something in the near or distant future that will allow that. But I know when I had that happen to me, it didn't put me back in. I do notice, like when I get a phone call and I'm playing some other kind of audio, usually if I hang up, it will go back to my audio feed, but not in the case of Zoom, apparently. So good question. But hopefully we can find an answer at some point. All right, who's next?
This is Hershey.
Hershey, go ahead.
All right, so this is kind of throwing it out there in left field, but if anyone has a third-party headset or headphones, specifically I'm speaking about the Sony XM4s, but I'm sure that not everybody has them. But this is the scenario here. On a phone call, even though the headphones are connected, you lose audio on both voiceover and the person speaking to you. I think it peaked its head out around 14.6. 14.5 worked just fine. The steps that I've tried to help the person troubleshoot was to unpair and forget the actual device and then repair it, and then also resetting the headphones and then having it basically in repairing mode. The only thing I have not tried is to reset the headphones itself and then retry it. But when the person uses the headphones otherwise, they could hear voiceover just fine. But say if someone called, then the headphones tend to basically go silent on you. And other parts that I've looked at is in the phone app or the actual call that's ongoing to try to unpair or pair the Bluetooth from that menu. So changing from speakerphone to a Bluetooth device, I've tried that and to basically no effect with any of those options. So any insight?
All right. So
this is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
How old are those headphones, Hershey? Do you know?
The headphones are from last year, so they're the WH-1000
Oh,
XM4s,
okay.
and it's the iPhone 12 Pro.
Yeah, because I had that happen with a pair of old Plantronics, like back from '08 or '07, where it wouldn't, like, voiceover work, but it wouldn't work in a call. The only thing I can think of is in audio settings. I think I left my phone on default for call routing, which is automatic. I don't know if they changed that setting, if that would do anything.
I don't believe that they have changed anything specifically. I think everything still
Okay.
remains default, but as far as settings are concerned, I'm just a little bit confused. And maybe if it's a 14.6 bug with voiceover, especially being a little bit finicky as we're hearing tonight. The main thing is turning off the pair, turning it back on. It pairs it while you're using the device. It will let you hear the voiceover. But as soon as somebody gives you a call, voiceover goes away and the person talking to you goes away. So just trying to kind of troubleshoot it into the fact that, is it a Bluetooth situation since it's a Sony pair of headsets, or if it's the headphones themselves with some kind of issue specifically, because the Sony headphones did have a firmware before it and it did the same thing, and the one firmware after it did the same thing. So it doesn't point to the firmware or anything of that nature, except maybe a faulty pair of headphones. That could happen. I guess that, but 14.6 is where the issue started. So
Is there it's Marty, is there an app that's with that's with those headphones?
yes, Sony headphones.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would
The
maybe
Sony
go in the app and see the settings in the app, or maybe most of those apps have a reset button. I would just totally reset the headphones and then go back and of course get them out of the phone to do the forget. And then I would just go back and start the process like they were new headphones again, see if that changes anything.
If I could ask a follow up to that, you mentioned
Okay.
audio earlier. Would there be other places that you could push the audio? So let's just say you wanted voiceover coming from a Bluetooth speaker, just for example sake.
I think
hang on, Marty.
instead of
Were you
I think
finished, Hershey?
Well, so what I was what I was trying to get at is, so if, let's say if it's a Bluetooth speaker, but the main issue where I'm finding is within the call app itself. Everything else seems to work just fine as far as, because the app would relate to audio, so music and such. But where the problem I think is residing is during phone calls. So
Okay.
is there any other method of re-traveling the audio to different, like a speakerphone to headphone to earpiece, etc.?
Okay, go ahead, Marty.
I believe it's in that call routing under audio settings. You could change that. You could play with that and change it from automatic to Bluetooth, and then see if that solves the problem. And if it does, then you might have to put it to Bluetooth. I don't really. I've never did anything with it. Someone else may know more about that than I do, so I'll defer.
Could a little bit of a clarification please be mentioned there with, so audio, so go to settings and then
Go to audio settings, and then I think there's something called call routing. Or
and
not,
this would be under the voiceover settings, or
no, it's under audio settings, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. Any
This
other
is-
suggestions, Sree?
So, Hershey, I got one on the right field. Do you know if that person has any other iOS device?
Yes, they do.
Do you know if those other devices are connected to that Bluetooth?
No, they're not.
They're not.
If anything, that might be, actually, take it back, could be an iMac.
I would check to make sure none of the other devices are connected first and see if the problem goes away.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe just resetting the headphones themselves. That way it loses all pairing from other devices too, could help. but I'll definitely check back on that iMac to see it's unpaired from there. And I doubt it's paired up to an iPad. But like I said, this is an issue where I found the phone app is the culprit.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree. One more comment, and then we need to stop for the halftime show. Go ahead.
So just so you know, Hershey, when it's possible that the Mac and the iPad are set up for taking incoming call, and maybe the Bluetooth is getting mixed up as which device is actually answering the call. And that's why I was thinking maybe if you turn all of them off except the phone, then see if it resolves the issue.
Makes total sense. I will pass on the message and we'll go on that.
Okay. Very good. Well, those are good suggestions and great question, Hershey. And it is already halftime. Sandhya, didn't we just get started?
I think so. Isn't it just 7:30? All right.
Yeah.
Well.
There you go. It's all yours if you want it.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, so this is the chance for anybody who joined us and trickled in late to say hello and where you're from. I'd love to hear from you.
This is Scott from Arizona.
Scott's here. Brad, hey, welcome.
And I'm still in
This is Cherry Ann from Arlington Heights.
Hey, Terry Ann, welcome.
Nikki from San Francisco.
And Nancy from Tulsa.
Nancy and
Sorry,
Kathy. Welcome. Welcome.
Eva.
Eva, welcome.
Eva.
Linda from Mumble.
Hey, we need order here. Linda, welcome, Linda. Long time.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else?
Michael Houston.
Welcome, sir. Anybody else want to say hello?
Rose from Philadelphia.
Welcome, Rose. Glad to have you. All right. Anybody else didn't get to say hi the first time around?
Freddie.
Freddie, welcome. Glad to have you. Okay. Final. Anybody else? Okay. So real quick rundown. Like I said, it's a busy week from iBUG. Okay, tomorrow, Clubhouse mini buzz from 5 to 6, all time central. Then Mac and Talk 7 to 8:30 on this Zoom conference line. Wednesday is it's iBUG's Life on Clubhouse, talking about all things relating to travel, and that will be at 6 p.m. And then on Saturday, we have the Apple workshop from 2 to 4, all kinds of cool demos there. And let me see what else. And just a reminder of this call is all things related to VoiceOver and the various iOS related products. And I think we will keep our announcements to a minimum there. And I think there's something happening on Friday. I think it's the iBUG night at the virtual movies, maybe. And I think with those opaque clues, we have the iBUG guy himself. Is he here? Is the iBUG guy here?
Friday.
Yeah, and he's using his own name too.
All right. There he is. Welcome, Mr. iBUG guy.
Welcome, everyone. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You know what dad spells backwards?
Dad.
Okay, Mr. McCulloch. Go ahead.
Pap.
Oh, geez. Go ahead, Mr. McCulloch. Ready for the clues.
All right, first we got to tell them Friday night the virtual movie starts. Join us at 7:30 p.m. So for the pre-movie social, or even earlier if you're a glutton for punishment. Oh, then the movie promptly will start thereabouts at 8 p.m. Central. And we like for people to stick around after the movie for a discussion. It's always fun. Well, except for last Friday. But anyway, we won't just talk about
I must have missed something.
Miss much. Okay.
You missed it. Actually, we're going to replay that one again this Friday, so we're not going to have any clues this week.
Not
Put
so
myself on
fast.
mute. I'm
All
laughing too
right.
much.
There might be
All
rioting
right,
in the
keep-
streets.
I think so.
All right.
I'll be the first one.
Now
Go ahead, Mr. McCulloch. Here we
it's
go.
Time for Michael's movie minutia. All right. Just like other times, just wait. No, you can say your name when you think you know the title and wait to be recognized by me. And then we'll let you guess the wrong title. And then we'll move on to the next clue.
Such confidence.
There's a lot of
I've-
optimism there.
This is going to be an easy one this week.
I hate when people say that because it may
I've
not
got
be.
some great clues straight out of the best clue bucket around. All right, clue number 1. Our movie this week contains an invaluable cultural icon whose singing and dancing performance.
This is Sree.
Oh, go ahead, Sree.
Grease.
No, we couldn't have gotten it right.
Dumbfounded.
This is Ned.
Grease is correct.
Grease is
Oh
the
my
word,
gosh.
Mr.
way.
McCulloch. Grease is
Wow,
the
that's
word.
great.
That is
Hey,
so
I've
awesome.
done it on the first clue before.
First
Yeah.
try.
This is Herbie.
Hold on, Mr. Ned had a comment first.
I thought it was singing in the rain. So
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. All right, so okay.
Wait.
Give us the other
Did
clues
he have
anyway.
take some
just to see
grease
if-
lightning or something?
Hold on,
This
wait,
is
wait, wait.
Nancy.
Just hold on.
Herbie, then Nancy.
I was just gonna say, somebody must have taken like some grease lightning or and enjoying those summer nights or something. I don't know, but
I don't know how you got that.
Okay.
This is Sree.
All right. Go ahead. No, who was it? Nancy.
Me.
Nancy.
Okay, I just have to do this. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh no, put her on mute. Okay, mute.
All right, Sree,
Mute,
go
mute.
ahead.
Okay, Sree.
The reason I guessed that is because I just purchased that movie.
Wow.
Okay, very cool.
And you
very
admit
good.
that?
But does it have the audio description? That's the question.
It does. That's
Oh,
why I got
well, well,
Very good.
I guess
very
we won't be
good.
seeing him Friday night at the virtual movies.
Yeah, I guess not.
This Kathy.
He's playing it. This is the 80, 90,
What are you doing?
50th anniversary of this movie.
Oh no.
Wow.
You're probably playing it on the
1978 when it came out.
No,
it's
it'd be
only
70,
42
71.
years. 43 years.
Yeah, that's 43.
He's not good with math.
Oh, that's close enough.
He was only a NASA engineer. He
Yeah,
doesn't
you see
need
what
math.
happened to our
It
shuttle
sounded
program, right?
sounded better to be 50th. But
Okay,
anyway,
can
we'll
we go?
come back in 7 years.
Better with
Okay,
solar.
Johnny, what do we have for our winner tonight?
All right, I thought you'd never ask. For Sree, we have the ultimate leather jacket. So you two can be cool like Danny Zuko. All right, Sree, I know you've probably never been cool before, but you will be cool now. And you will also be sporting your leather jacket as you drive around in your new car. All right. Well, guess what kind of new car you're having? You're going to have a 1948 Ford Deluxe convertible in the traditional iBUG colors. All right, iBUG, red, black, and white. You are going to be so cool, Sree. There you go. There you go. That's what we
All
have
right.
for you.
Since we didn't get through our clues, there's one trivia. Who was Danny's role model for this film?
Mr. McCulloch, we'll do that on Friday.
Kathy.
James Dean.
James Dean is close.
Okay.
But not
Goodbye.
correct.
Next. You're done.
Somebody's got to guess it, Brad.
The Fonz.
The Fonz came after, I think. Yeah.
No.
Yes, he's actually correct. Mr. McCulloch, we're wasting time. Gotta go.
All right, one more guess. Last guess.
And then
Anybody?
we'll wait till Friday.
This is Sree.
Go, Sree. He knows. He bought the movie.
Is it Michael?
Oh God!
This is Keith.
Don't encourage him.
This is Keith.
Wise men say
Oh my God! Okay, what is with Keith? Where's the mute button, Steven?
That's not me.
Steven?
I was going to say Steve McQueen.
Who was singing? Was that you, Mr. McCulloch?
The Big E was the role model for this film.
Is really troubling.
All right,
Okay.
we are totally out of control now.
Yes, I see that. Okay, we're muting everybody. Okay, thank you, Mr. McCulloch. Please say good night, Mr. McCulloch.
Good night, Mr. McCulloch.
Oh, thank goodness he finally does something on cue. Okay, so now we're going to mute everybody. Hallelujah for mute. Okay, so we're going to start fresh, return to our regularly scheduled program with some rules and regulations. All right, so somebody that hasn't had a turn, somebody new, we would like for you to voice your question. We'd love to hear from you. Something to do with voiceover and all these various devices. Anybody have a new question?
Linda.
Linda, thank you. Go ahead.
When you delete a text, does it just delete it from your phone or does it delete it from the person you sent it to also?
Oh, what a great question. Who would like to answer? Help Linda with that.
This is Keith.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Just your phone.
Great.
Oh, but wouldn't it be great if we could?
Yes, it would.
Those regretful, remorseful messages that you wish you hadn't sent.
Especially when you're using dictation and you send it and then realize that dictation says some bad words.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I know Linda wouldn't use no bad words anyway. So
not on purpose.
Even with dictation. Yeah. Well, thank you, Linda. Okay. So I hope that helps, Linda.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the great question. All right. Who's next? Anybody new? The new question?
This is Nancy.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I don't know if anyone else is using Weather Gods app on the iPhone. And I am just curious. When I first tried it, it said the different, like the fire god is awake or is sleeping, and it gave me the moon phase and things like that. And now it doesn't do that. And before I buy it, I want to know if there's a setting or something I have to change to make it work. So does anyone?
All right. So just to summarize, is anybody using the weather? Are the gods sleeping, or is there something wrong with her app, or is there a setting that she needs to do? Anybody using weather gods?
Nancy, it's Mark in Montreal. Sorry, Sandhya.
Go ahead.
I've been using weather gods for years, so I was graciously migrated to the paid app because I've been using it for 4 or 5 years. When you go into your settings, there should be something that says to just turn that on, where you go in on the main screen where you set up your various notifications. There's also a setting for that. And if you've had weather gods for a while, then you should get hold of Scott or the other developer and ask them why the heck you're not. Well, because I'm getting the free version, the paid version for free. Now, if they enhance it more, I may not, but I never had to pay for it. I got it all gratis as a previous user.
it tells me I have to pay $29, but I just want to make sure if I'm going to do it because it's kind of fun, but I don't know if I really want to pay for it.
Okay, the thing I don't like about Weather God, since they've made the changes even before they put out the paid version, is it does not give you the location of the current temperature. It used to say Trudeau Airport, Montreal Trudeau Airport. Now it just says Montreal, and what they do is they take an average of the 3 airports nearest you and give you that approximation of what the current temperature is, which really ticks me off. Okay, I'm not happy with that.
Thank you, Mark. So Nancy, I hope that will help you and sounds fun. The Weather Gods app. Okay, good question.
This
Yes.
is Ned.
Ned, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my question. When I have a doctor's appointment, I will either get I'll get both a text message and an email to check in online before my appointment. And going from the email to check in is not a problem. But in my text message, when I tap on the link to take me to check in, it doesn't do that. So I was just wondering why it doesn't work on the text message, but it works in the email when I'm tapping to check in.
All right. Who would like to help Ned out with his checking in from a text message? Any thoughts about what is going on?
This is Keith.
Okay, Keith.
I was just going to say you might want to try to turn your rotor to links and just swipe up or down and see if it actually refocuses to the link, and then double tap and see if that helps.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe somebody was trying to say something.
Herbie was speaking at the same time as Keith was.
Oh, okay. Herbie?
Yeah, what Keith suggested is good. I think it's a bug with an iOS because I've experienced a similar problem if I get a link in a text message. But yeah, try the links rotor and see if that does work for you. It might.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Herbie and Keith.
Bernice?
All right. Yes, go ahead, Bernice.
Yeah, I have a question. I went to the app store for the Zoom to put on so when I go to a meeting with Zoom and it says mute, how do I mute? I tried it and I don't know what to do. Do I tap it twice?
What a great question, Bernice. Who would like to help Bernice how to mute in Zoom? So you have the Zoom app already downloaded on your phone, is that right?
Yes.
All right, who'd like to help her out? Our
And I'm
newest
blind.
caller. Okay, yeah, we're all blind here. So yeah, who would like to share with her?
Kelsey?
Kelsey, go ahead.
There's a couple different ways you can mute on the app. One way is when you're in the Zoom app, if you swipe to the right 3 or 4 times, you'll see, or you'll hear an option that says mute my audio. If you perform a 1-finger double tap on that button, VoiceOver will say that your audio is muted, and it's a toggle. So if you double tap on that button again, your audio will be unmuted. The other way you can mute is, though I have tried this and it's not always consistent, is you can also perform a 2-finger double tap to mute and unmute.
All right.
Do I have?
Okay, go ahead, Bernice.
Do I have to wait for it to say mute?
Yes, you'll hear VoiceOver say mute my audio. When you hear that, you're focused on that button. So all you'll need to do is you can do a 1-finger double tap anywhere on the screen.
Thank you, Kelsey. I
This
hope
is-
that. Go ahead, Keith.
Mark in Montreal.
Okay, hang on,
Just-
Keith, and then Marty.
Just to help you find it a little better, if you go to the very lower left hand of the screen, you'll find that mute toggle there, and it will say when you unmute, you will hear VoiceOver tell you you're unmuting, and when you go to mute again, it will tell you that you are muting. It will give you that audio feedback.
Yeah, so the bottom left corner. Yes, thank you, Keith. Okay. Double tap one time with double tap with 1 finger. Yes. All right. I think Mark has something to add. Mark?
He's covered it, so I don't have
Okay.
to. Okay.
Appreciate it, sir. Appreciate it. All
Thank
right. Well,
you.
Bernice, that's a great question, and we are so happy you're using Zoom. So great. Good job. Okay. Okay. Who else has a question? Somebody new that hasn't had a turn? Anybody? Oh my goodness. Something that's making noises. All right. Oh, dear. All right. If nobody has a question, I have a question about does anybody have a question before I go? Oh my goodness. Sorry about her. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, good, Joe. Yes, please go ahead.
All right. I was just now listening to the program, to iBUG. I had a telephone call come in. So I double tapped and got the telephone call. And afterwards, I double tapped again and I was on a Zoom. Is this usual or did I do something wrong?
Oh, what a great question. It seems to be a problem tonight.
We just said that. I think we had that question while you were on the phone.
Yeah,
I'm so
probably.
sorry. What was the answer?
What was the answer, Stephen? Go ahead.
Well, there really is no answer. Apparently, because I mentioned an example where that happened to me a few months ago. Apparently, Zoom does not have a feature where it will just automatically put you back once you're done with the phone call. So you have to call back in.
Well, I did.
Yeah, which you did, apparently.
This is Eva.
Go ahead, Eva.
Well, I've solved the problem because I have an iPod. So I use Zoom on my iPod, and then when I get a call on my phone, I just answer it on the phone, and then the iPod immediately goes back to the call I was on. I mean, the Zoom call. So if you have two devices, yeah, it works out so much better.
Well, sure, if you have two devices, right?
Yes,
Well,
if you
very,
do.
very cool. Very good solution there. All right.
I guess I didn't do it. Whoops.
Hang on. Go ahead, Terry. You have a comment?
Yes. I most of the time, if I get a call on my phone and I pick up the call and then end the call, I am actually returned to Zoom.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. So what's happening then? Okay, Joe.
So I'm thinking there has to be a setting somewhere, but where that is, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Terry Ann. Anybody else have any experience with this or ideas of how to fix it?
This is Nikki.
Go ahead, Nikki.
I have a problem when I'm on Zoom and I get off to answer a phone call. If I'm gone too long, it takes me out of the Zoom program.
Right, that's what we're saying. Yeah, okay. So,
Right,
but no
but
ways
what?
to
But
fix it.
why? Why?
Yeah, we don't know why. That's what we're trying to
Oh, you
figure
don't know
out.
why? Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
it gets to a certain point. It's after I think like 2 minutes, and it cuts you off.
Okay. All right. Well, this is Sandhya. Another solution, if you don't want to be interrupted in your Zoom call, there's always good old do not disturb. And you can ask your favorite SIRI to turn on do not disturb, and then you will not get any phone calls. And then you can stay on Zoom without interruption. So that's one other idea there. So, okay. Great question, Joe. I hope that will help you some way. Okay. All right. Who's next? Somebody
This
with
is Gail.
Go ahead, Gail.
Okay, I was wondering if I know before when someone asked this question a while ago, I was wondering if there are any color identifiers for the iPhone.
Oh, good question, Gail. Thank you. All right. Who would like to help Gail? Any suggestions for a color identifier? I'm just going to get some, hold on, there's some background noise. All right, so everybody is muted. So who would like to help Gail? Anybody have any suggestions?
Mark in Montreal.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nancy, and then we'll come back to Mark. Go ahead, Nancy.
So Seeing AI has a color identifier. I don't know that I think it's the greatest, but if you go to the short text, with the menu where it has short text, documents, keep swiping up to color identifier. And then there's also one called inspector. I'm not sure that I found any color identifier though that is perfect. But if you use Be My Eyes, you can ask what color something is as well.
Perfect. Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Nancy's got it right. She stole my thunder with Seeing AI.
I tell you.
I've heard from people in the know, from Apple Viz and other places, like from Anonymous and people in the know, that the ambient lighting has a huge effect on how your color is interpreted by the iPhone. So I wouldn't rely on any, or that's what they told me, they wouldn't rely on any iPhone app, including Seeing AI, to be 100% accurate.
Okay, absolutely. Good point there. Mr. Dana, what you got?
Well, like Mark, my thunder has been stolen.
Oh,
So,
there's so much stolen thunder, I tell you.
yeah.
But yeah, as Mark said, I mean, even people disagree on, what colors are depending on, lighting and so forth, texture, there's the distance, there's a lot of factors. So yeah, I agree with Nancy that I don't know if I've ever really found a real reliable source except for the human eye. So you can get that with Be My Eyes, or I've had some pretty good luck with Tap See sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right. And then, so those are some basic ways. And then another way is, Ira could possibly help you if you don't, for 5 minutes or less, probably could do that if they still have that. I'm not sure. Another option is, you FaceTime somebody that that may be a friend or a family member, and say, hey, I'm wearing this dress. What color is it? Or do my shoes match, or whatever. All right. So I hope that helps. Anybody else? Keith, go ahead.
I was just going to say, make sure with any of these that you have a good lighting source. If you're in a darker room or something, it's not going to pick up the colors as well. It'll view them as darker colors or whatever. And I will say there's not any of these that work 100%, because every time I scan my Longhorn shirt, it says brown. So that's not cool.
Yes. I know David had told us about an app that he really liked that was good about describing colors, and I don't remember what it was called. So if he remembers, he can chime in. I know we've done some demos over the years of different color identifiers, and we've had luck with some. So yeah, great question, Gail. Great
Linda.
question. Linda.
This is David.
I'll use Tap See from time to time, but you really have to be careful and make sure you're fully dressed, because I usually put my clothing items on my bed, and I take the picture of it, and then it'll say lady wearing black shorts. I'm going, I didn't even have you pointed to my shorts. So, you got to be careful.
Be careful. All right, David, what you got?
Oh yeah, Tap See was one, and then there's one called Be Specular.
Be Specular, I knew.
Where but it's not like instantaneous. You do have to wait for somebody to respond.
Right.
So and it's a pretty old app, and so is Tap See. I don't know, these are going to be around forever, but Be Specular still works. It just it might take a few minutes to get someone to comment on your picture.
Right, it's crowdsourcing basically. So you get different responses from people, and they tell you what color your tie is. Yeah, some people.
Yeah, some people record an audio message. Some people just type it out in the text.
All right, thank you, David, for filling me in. Okay, Jody.
Yes, hi. I love Tap See because it'll even tell you like yellow and blue plaid. And the last time I used it was a couple of weeks ago. I was actually holding the shirt up, and it said yellow and blue shirt with a hand with a ring on it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, I mean, it's very detailed, and I love Tap See. It works really, really great.
Okay, great. Okay. One final comment, and we got to get ready for our demo with Sree.
This is Nancy.
Okay, hang on. D first, and then okay, go ahead, D.
Okay, I was just going to say you have to be careful. I have one of these standalone color identifiers, and I picked it up the other day and tried to shave my legs with it.
Well, between you and Linda, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, Nancy, and then we got to go to Sree.
Okay. I was just going to say there was one other demo that I don't know if people caught it. It's a partnership between Ira and I forgot the name of the company. Maybe it's Way Around. And there are these labels that you put on things, and you can identify colors. They'll help you with identifying the colors, and then it'll describe the color. It was a really cool demo from Ira.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Nancy. That'll have to be the last word on that one for right now. Sree, are we ready to go? Hang on, Sree. Sree, are we ready to go? Let's see.
Ready.
Yes, ready. Okay, so I'm going to hang on one second.
Okay, but I did have a quick comment on the previous issue regarding Zoom and calls, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I only just found it. That's why I didn't comment earlier. Make sure if you go into settings and then general, check to see if your call kit is enabled. And that might help with the Zoom and the call waiting. So that's my only suggestion.
All right, great.
Call
Thank
kit.
you, Herbie. Okay, here we go. Hold on. All right. Well, hold on. Hang on, Sree.
Did you uncheck the box?
Hang on. Yeah, I was trying to. I tried to ask him to unmute. There.
Oh, there
All right, Sree, you should be getting an invitation to unmute. Sree.
Hello.
There you are. You're back from
I'm back
jail.
from jail.
Zoom
All right.
jail. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Today, I'm going to show you guys a very simple shortcut to open up a web page. So, Sandhya, I'm going to ask you, how do you typically open a web page? Where do you go?
I go to the open Safari and then go to the address bar and then start typing like my website, like iBUG today or Google or whatever, and then hit enter.
All right. So if I said, Sandhya, if you just said bug today and opens iBUG today, would you say that's a much faster way to do it?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to show you how to set that up.
Cool.
And Sandhya, what's your favorite website to go to?
I use Google a lot.
Google. All right. Well, mine is
Or
iBUG
Safari.
today.
Is what?
Mine's going to iBUG today. So.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, you meant website or web browser? I mean, Google's the browser. Yeah, no, iBUG today, of course. Sorry.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to create what's called a series shortcut. And the shortcut that I'm going to show you guys how to create, you can actually apply it to any other website you want to open. And then you can just verbally say a series shortcut and the page will open up. So you don't have to go through what Sandhya just described as going to Safari, then go into the search bar and then type in, let's say, ibugtoday.org. So the way we do it is we're going to create what's, like I said, it's called a shortcut. And by default, this is an app that is part of with Apple. So you just find the shortcut app. So I'm going to go find mine.
Not recognized. Characters. Oh, today.
So I'm going to go find my shortcut.
Mindful bowling.
Oops, let me get my shortcut, sorry.
Reminders. 2 tasks. Use it. Clock. 10 notes. Shortcuts.
All right, shortcuts. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap on the shortcut app.
Shortcuts.
All right, so basically this is going to open up your shortcut and I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap on the top of the screen.
Select top of screen.
And I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Create shortcut button.
Create shortcut button. So I'm going to just go ahead and double tap on that.
Create search for apps and actions. Search field.
Okay, so by default, it's going to get you the search box. And basically all we're going to do is verbally ask to search for open URL. Very simple. I'm going to dictate and say open URL, and it's going to start giving me the tools that can be used to open a URL. So I'm just going to dictate, say open URL.
Create a shortcut to actions. Details. But new shortcut. Next. Dimmed. Cancel. Button. Next. New shortcut. Details. Button. Create a shortcut to action. Add action. Button. Search for apps and actions.
All
Search
right,
field.
search for apps. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap.
Search field is editing. Search for apps and actions. Character mode. Insertion point and start.
All right, and I'm going to do a two-finger double tap, and I'm just going to dictate, and I'm just going to say open URLs. Open URLs.
Delete. Inserted open URLs.
All right, so once I told the search for open URLs, it's going to give me a list of tools that I could use to create the shortcut. So I'm going to flick right till I find open URLs.
Clear text. Button. Cancel. Button. Apps. Heading. Chrome. Safari. Actions. Heading. Open URLs. Button. Heading.
Okay.
Actions available.
Open URLs heading. So I'm going to double tap on that.
Open URLs. Heading.
And that basically creates this, it embeds this tool called Open URL in the shortcut. And so if I go ahead and do a touch and explore, it's going to give me the list of the URL, the tool that I just embedded.
Open URLs action. Heading.
All right.
Actions available.
So it said the heading is the Open URL heading. And if I flick right once.
Open URL. Actions available.
Okay, Open URL, action available. So basically this is where if I flick up or flick down and I go to edit, I can create any website for it to open using the Siri shortcut. So I'm just going to go ahead and flick up.
Edit URL.
All right, edit URL. I'm going to go ahead and do a one-finger double tap to open it. All right, so now I'm basically in a text field where I can type in our website. Our website I'm going to type in is going to be iBUG today.
U-I-B-B-I. India. U-U-D. Del F. Fuck G. G. ASCII top T. T. O. O. D. D. A. A. Y. Y. Period. Period. iBUG Tony O. O. D. Delta. E. R. R. F. G. G.
All right, so I basically created our website, ibugtoday.org. And then if I do a four-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Cancel button.
And if I flick right.
Next button.
I get the next button. And if I double tap on next.
Next. Text field is editing. Shortcut name. Character mode. Insertion point and start.
Okay, so now
iBugtoday.org.
It's giving me a shortcut name. This is what basically Siri is looking for me to announce to open the shortcut. And I'm just going to call it Bug Today. So I'm just going to do a two-finger double tap because I'm in the text field. Bug Today.
Delete inserted Bug Today.
So now I've created Bug Today as the shortcut name that Siri is going to look for. So now I do a four-finger single tap.
Back button.
And if I flick right.
New shortcut. Heading. Done. Button.
And I hit done. And I double tap on done.
Shortcuts. Back button.
All right. So I have just built a shortcut called Bug Today, which is going to open iBugtoday.org. So now if I go to Siri and I say Bug Today.
Safari button.
It's opened up iBug Today's website. So if I touch on the thing.
More and more of our community are finding the Apple devices to be useful assistive technology tools compared to lives.
So that's how you create a shortcut to a website by just inputting the website and giving it a name. And now every time I ask Siri Bug Today, it's going to open up iBugtoday.org. And if you want, you can add it as a shortcut in the home screen. One of the options that you have in the settings is details. If you double tap on details and you flick right, you can create that shortcut on your home screen. And that's the demo for creating a website using Siri shortcut.
Wow, thank you, Sree. That was super cool and short and sweet. So thank you. Hang on, we're going to open it up and then we can let people ask questions. All right. All right. So if anybody has any questions for Sree about that, or anybody have questions for Sree? Go ahead, Hershey.
All right. So I just wanted to add to the shortcut aspect, and the other part, I would say, the other aspect that I want to also share with that is even QR codes are pretty nifty. So I know we were talking about Chrome earlier. Chrome and other websites and such also provide you QR codes. So if you even have a QR code and use your camera app, you could also use that as a secondary shortcut method. So if you have some kind of Wi-Fi or something in your house, to point and shoot the camera at that QR code, is another way you could share either websites or other information. But shortcuts are definitely helpful. So I just wanted to say that bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Hershey. All right. Anybody
This is Sree.
else? Sree.
I was just going to comment what Hershey said. So I've actually set up a Siri shortcut where if someone comes to my house and they want to access my Wi-Fi, I have a QR code with the shortcut that I would just show them the shortcut, and they would use the camera with the QR code, and they would automatically log into my Wi-Fi without having to find the SSID and the password. It would automatically install it.
Sree, do you want to quickly just give a brief, I mean, some of us are familiar with QR codes, but just a real simple definition?
Well, I don't know if I have a simple definition for it. So basically, the way I see it is with these things is the QR code is basically, it's kind of like a barcode, but you can customize the what you're scanning with the QR. So for what I've been told from my daughter when I created this QR code for this Wi-Fi that I created, is basically it looks like a black box with a bunch of different patterns, and each of these patterns represent what you're creating. And I'm probably not explaining it as very detailed.
No, that's fine.
But
that's fine.
It's just basically you can customize your information with a QR code, and then with your QR code that you create, you can really customize what you want it to be displayed.
Okay, so it's similar to a barcode. That's helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know commercials can say, "Oh, scan this QR code and blah blah blah," and I was like, "Okay, how do I, what would I do that for?" But okay.
That's why, like restaurants, during the pandemic, they don't give you a menu; they just tell you to, do the QR code.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you, Sree. Anybody else? Any questions for Sree on the demo? Shortcuts. That's a very good topic there. Okay, well, Sree, thanks for doing that. And I'll definitely do that myself. All right, so we'll go back to our regular questions that we have. So is anybody new who didn't have a chance want to ask a question? This is your turn. Everybody should be able to unmute.
Kelsey,
go ahead, please.
I have a setup question. I am probably going to be ordering an iPhone SE 2020 pretty soon because my phone has gone on the fritz. And question I have is, I have music that I put on my phone via iTunes. And I was wondering, is when I use Quick Start to set up the new phone, is that music automatically going to transfer, or do I have to resync the new phone with iTunes again to get that music on there?
All right. Thanks, Kelsey. Who has the help for Kelsey?
This is Brad.
Brad, go ahead, please.
You're going to have to resync it. And it's a little tricky because in order to do that, you have to go, oh God, I don't remember the setting off the top of my head. There's a setting in your music. Go to the settings, go to music, and there's a setting about cloud syncing. And I can't remember the exact way it's stated, but you have to turn that off. And then you have to, connect it to your, I assume you're using a Mac, connect it to your, okay, well then whatever computer that has iTunes, connect it to that and do it the old fashioned way. But you're going to have to turn that cloud syncing setting off in music. It's the very top of, when it's off, it's the top, but it adds something else. But you'll see it. It's obvious what it is. When it's on, I think it's the second or maybe even the third one down, but you'll see it. Turn it off, and then you can sync your music the way you always did, the old fashioned way. And then when you're done, you can go turn that thing back on, and then any new purchases or things get automatically synced, syncs your two libraries. But in order to connect it to iTunes and sync, you got to turn that off. Took me a couple times to figure it out, but once you did it, it's okay.
All right. Okay, Brad. Well, Kelsey, hope that helps. Anybody else have anything to add to that? I think that's pretty comprehensive there. So congratulations, Kelsey, and getting your new phone. So
I haven't
hopefully
ordered it yet, but
it's coming soon.
Well, I'm looking. I haven't actually placed the order. I'm just going to be looking at doing it pretty soon because I'm getting tired of having to talk to people on speakerphone all the time. So
okay, well, good luck. Good luck. Good question. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? A question? We did
It's
get a
Kathy.
chance. Kathy, go ahead, please.
Back to the shortcut. Do we all have this shortcut app on our phone already? Because I can't find it.
Sree, go ahead, please.
You can go to the App Store and download it if it's not there.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the Apple apps.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Any question? Okay. I have a
Jody?
question. Oh, yes, go ahead. Who's that?
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. Ask your question. I was just gonna make
No,
a
no.
comment.
Okay, well, real quick. So I don't use my Apple Watch as much as I should use my Apple Watch. So the other day, I forgot. I went to work or something happened. Anyway, so what is the quickest way to turn down the volume? Because I don't know, usually we want it as loud as possible. Then you're like really, it was just too loud. So anyway, how do I quickly turn down the volume without, or do I have to go through all the settings and all that? Anybody
This
have?
is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
There is now a way to do it. Well, let me see. Which Apple Watch do you have?
Oh, I was afraid you were going to ask that question.
Because that would determine my answer. If you have, I believe it's a 4, 5, or 6.
It's a 5. It's a 5. Pretty sure it's a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they have now, and it might work with the 3. I'm not sure about that. But you can use, they've put a rotor feature on the watch. And one of the things in there is the rotor, is the volume control. So just in the same way that you can use the rotor feature on your phone, if you know how to do that, some people are comfortable with using that and some aren't.
Right.
But if you know how to do that, you can turn the rotor on your watch and until you get to volume. And let's see, I'm going to see if I can.
All right. Well,
so you have characters, words. Oh, come on here.
So these are the different things on your
The
rotor.
settings, right.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know why.
This is Brad.
Speaking
Okay,
rate.
Brad. I think Brad was there. Okay,
And-
thank you, Terry. Okay, Brad, and then Sree.
Yeah, just to follow up on what Terry said, that's exactly right. But keep in mind that what you're doing is you're adjusting the volume of voiceover speech relative to the other sounds that your watch may make. So, I mean, if you're looking to adjust the sound of maybe music that it plays or other things, this is just going to adjust the sound of voiceover, volume of voiceover speech.
Okay, yeah, that's what she was just way too loud. Okay, thanks, Brad. Sree?
You could do a 2-finger tap and slide down or up to increase or lower the volume.
Oh, okay.
And if that doesn't work, just unbuckle it and just throw it away.
Thanks, Sree.
But I believe 2-finger double tap and slide. 2-finger double tap and slide up and down.
Okay, I will try that. I have another Apple Watch question. I can't remember what it is. So but thank you guys, and then I'll try to remember that. Okay, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I just want to make an observation. We've talked about voiceover quitting it, and then you have to turn the lock screen on and off, and it starts again. Has anybody noticed that when you leave a room in Clubhouse, that voiceover will quit?
Okay, anybody having issues with Clubhouse and voiceover quitting when you leave a room? Or is that a new bug or something?
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
I have noticed that. And the other thing I've noticed is that sometimes when I am going to unmute, sometimes, oh no, it's not voiceover that quits. It's I don't hear the audio for a brief bit.
Yes,
of,
yeah.
Yeah. But I have noticed that voiceover stops, but then it starts again. I haven't had that happen too many times, but I have had it happen.
Okay, so you're
And
not
what
alone,
happens
Jody.
if you
Not alone.
three finger double tap to turn voiceover off and then three finger double tap to turn it back on again? Sometimes that's usually what works for me.
Okay.
This is Sree.
Sree.
Also, Sandhya, for your issue, when it's really going really loud, you can, if you set it up on the settings where you can palm your watch, it'll stop speaking.
Right. Okay, yes, I do have that. Okay. And I just remembered my, well, I'll go ahead and quickly ask my other question about the watch. And I had previously, I was all excited because I set it up so that we could unlock the phone with your mask on and so forth. And then it just wouldn't work again. And it was working beautifully before, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've used it. Yeah. Who's that?
Herbie.
Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
So I do find this a kind of a finicky feature myself. I find that what you need to do is let the phone see that you're wearing a mask when you do Face ID, and that tends to activate the watch. And sometimes having the phone kind of closer to the watch, for me, seems to help a little bit. And then sometimes, it just works right. Like this last time, I had a lot easier time than I did a couple weeks ago. But that's kind of what I've noticed is, and just make sure the watch is not in any weird windows or anything, like not in any apps or anything like that, have it be on the main screen. But I think the phone seeing that you have a mask on seems to trigger the watch.
Okay, I will try that tomorrow.
This is Sree.
Sree.
Personally, for me, I have so much better luck unlocking my phone with the mask on than doing a Face ID to unlock it.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Comments?
Brad. You're talking about the Face ID with the watch. I just find it just works. It's kind of amazing.
I know. That's what I thought too a couple of weeks ago, and then I tried to do it yesterday, and it didn't work.
I was having a little trouble with it today, and I'd fool with it, and then it'd work. It's
okay. Well, let's see.
Today was weird, but usually it just works, even with my sunglasses on. So.
Oh, when you're in disguise, huh? Yeah.
This is
Herbie.
Well,
Brad, undercover.
Just
Okay,
had that
Sree and then
Unabomber
Herbie.
look going on.
Maybe with the new policy that you don't need to wear a mask, the software's gotten glitchy.
Okay. All right, Herbie.
Part of it is just the glitchiness of the watch. Like, okay, I know we don't like to talk about other devices here, but this is related to the watch. Like, you can use unlock the certain features on your Mac with the Apple Watch. And sometimes I have problems where, like, even though the watch should be registering, it is not. And so sometimes I think it's a problem just with certain glitches within the watch. So I've kind of noticed the same behavior with the Face ID and that myself. So.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anybody has a new question, comment, issue? Because then you're.
This is Terry.
Who's that? Jody?
Terry. Oh,
Terry. Go
sorry.
ahead, Terry.
It's interesting when lately, either my Series 4 or my Series 6 watch, it doesn't matter, I will take it off the charger and voiceover doesn't work. And so then what I have to do is make sure my phone is paired to that particular watch, and then lock the phone and then unlock the phone, and then voiceover comes back on the watch.
This is Herbie.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of trouble.
It
Okay.
is.
Yeah, Herbie.
So Terry, were you on the call when I asked the question earlier about the Apple Watch?
I don't believe I was.
Okay, because I was asking about that very issue. If I noticed the other week when I turned off my watch and turned it back on, VoiceOver just would not talk. And I was trying, I noted, and I didn't think much of it. Then somebody else asked me about the same problem, and now you're also seem to be experiencing something very similar. I don't know if you turn your
Yes.
watch off or not, because like if I put mine on just on the charger, it definitely cooperates. But if I turn it off and turn it back on, then yeah, had that.
Okay, hold on. All right, so we're getting background noise. Remember, guys, if you're not speaking, you need to please stay on mute. All right, go ahead, Sree. You have to unmute. Everybody has to unmute.
Sorry. This is Sree.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you think it's because I know didn't the Watch OS, didn't they have an update recently, and maybe that's part of the problem? Maybe.
Okay, so Herbie, maybe it's that.
This is Herbie.
Terry.
Okay, Herbie, and then Terry.
It probably is. I couldn't tell you which watch because it's very rare that I turn my watch off and on. But yeah, I have wondered if it was an update. And my question for you, Terry, by the way, is: are you using the Siri voice or the regular voice?
I'm trying to use the Siri voice, and sometimes when my watch comes back on, even though it says I have the Siri voice on, Samantha is, or whatever that voice number is now, is the one that speaks. And so then the only way I get it to change is the next time I charge the watch, and then it'll flip back to the Siri voice. But I also know from Apple that it's a bug, that there is a problem with the last couple of updates to the watch. So they are aware of it.
Okay.
This is Gail.
Gail, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna mention a couple things. Yeah, I've had problems too with the watch, with the voiceover a couple of times. Not all of a sudden not being on the watch, and more than once. And I was wondering if it was a bug with the updates.
Okay, it sounds
And
like
then-
that's a consensus.
And then I was going to tell Sandhya that I was today turning. That I turned up the volume today with the rotor on the watch.
Okay. Well, thank you for the encouragement. Hopefully, I can succeed in doing it myself.
I know you can do it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we are at the end of our program today. Stephen, thank you so much for helping me out. We had lots of good questions, and we're so thankful for everybody calling in and sharing what you know. And we hope to see you. We have lots of stuff going this week, so I won't say everything, but Clubhouse and Macintalk and it's iBUG's Life and Virtual Movie. We're going to be watching Grease is the word, Grease. So please come and it's a fun movie, start of summer. So we hope that you will come and do that. And then the Apple Workshop, of course, on Saturday from 2 to 4. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week, if not sooner. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night,
Stay
John
well and stay
Boy.
safe.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.